All right, so if you're struggling a little bit with the linear programming question, so here I'm going to kind of walk you through a little bit of this problem. So hopefully this will jumpstart you and kind of get you moving. All right, before you go any further, go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to go through and I want you to read the problem so you know what I'm talking about. So pause the video, read it, and then come back to the video. All right, so hopefully you've read it. So this last sentence, again, remember we get our information that we need, like our X and our Y, from this last sentence. How many of each bat should be made to maximize profit? So we have two different types of bats. So that's going to be your X and Y. Remember, your two items that you're making or producing, those are going to be your X and your Y. So we're going to have the number of homer hitters, and I'm going to abbreviate that HH from this point forward. So that's going to be my X. The other bat is the big timber, so number of big timber. Okay, so that is, I'm going to abbreviate BT from this point forward. Now, remember we talked yesterday, and we said that the X is going to go in this column here every single time, and the Y goes in this column every single time. All right, so I'm just going to label both of those columns based off of the bats. So this one is homer hitter, and this one is big timber. And then remember we said this last column is always maximum, and this last row is always profit. Okay, so when we go back through the information, I'm just going to go through and I'm just going to highlight the information that is important for me. So I'm going to start with, we'll do pink. All right, so homer hitters, I'm going to highlight all that information in pink. Okay, so when I read it up here, it tells me the homer hitter takes 8 hours to trim and turn and 2 hours to finish and makes us a profit of $17. So there's the three different things that I have, right? The three different things that I'm going to need. All right, so then if we look at the big timber, okay? So we're going to highlight all that stuff in green. So the big timber takes 5 hours to trim and turn and 5 hours to finish and has a profit of $29. So all that information is going to go underneath the column with BT, big timbers. All right, and then maximum. Oh, that's not a good color to use. All right, let's see. We'll do blue. All right, so maximum. So now I'm going to highlight all the information that tells me maximum, right? So the maximum amount of time for the trimming is 80 hours, and then for finishing, it's 50 hours. And then obviously, max profit, that's what I'm finding. The question mark underneath there tells me that's what I'm going to end up finding. All right, so based on this information, I see that each bat you have to trim and turn, and then the other thing you have to do is to finish it. So those are my constraints. Okay, so we talked about constraints. Go over here in these two rows right here. So I'm going to write the first one as trim and turn. And the second one is going to be finishing. Okay, remember that we said this column is always pluses, less than or equal to, less than or equal to, and equals, and profit, that's what we're finding. Okay, so go ahead and you can pause this video and use what I've highlighted to help you write your inequalities. And then once you write your inequalities, remember that we are going to take whatever goes in these spaces here. That's your first inequality that you're going to put on Desmos. And then this row right here is your second one. Okay, so those go on Desmos. And then this profit, this part is going to be used right here for your equation. Okay, remember your points are going to come from your double shaded region, right? So your feasible region. And so you'll use Desmos for that. Okay, hopefully this gets you started and gets you moving. Remember one last thing, everything in this column is going to have an X, right? And everything in this column is going to have a Y with it. Okay, again, up here, I'd be looking in the green for the information for my big timber. I'm looking at the pink for the information for my homer hitter. I'm looking at the blue to find my maximum. All right, so hopefully this helps. Go ahead and finish this one up and then flip it over and work on the second one as well. Again, use Desmos and just try. Give me some effort. And remember, this is an individual assignment, not a group project. So work on it on your own. Thanks, guys.